Hello and welcome to Your Space with your host Hannah Arinitwe. It's another fantastic 30 minutes right here with you as we get to break down the role of the youth in the fight against corruption. Now, we are not only live here on UBC, but we're also running live on our Twitter at Your Space Uganda. Be sure to follow us right there. Now, with me in studio is my favorite panel, and I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves and let us know how their week has been. Hello and welcome to Your Space today.
Thank you very much, Hannah. My week has been fabulous. I am Dr. Patricia Achano Kiria, Deputy Inspector General of Government, and I'm very happy to be part of this conversation this evening.
Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, to the only gentleman on the panel today.
Today I'm representing every man out there.
The usual suspect.
Usual suspect indeed.
Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you, Hannah, for having me. My name, as always, is Joel Sakwa. I'm very excited that you've joined us today, and sit back and enjoy the show.
Yes. Now, today's show, we're going to be looking at building ethical leadership. One of the things we've realized from our social media conversations that so many of us are really trying to understand better what ethical leadership is, and we have been able to host a couple of leaders on this space. But today, we're going to be really focusing a lot on, yes, ethical leadership is important, but how do we build a foundation of ethical young leaders on this nation? But I'll start again by asking Dr. Patricia, how would you describe ethical leadership, especially when it comes to combating corruption?
Ethical leadership, Hannah, is about leadership by example. It's about leaders who are down to earth, leaders who uphold values and principles of truthfulness, accountability, and anti-corruption. So if we have that crop of leaders who are standing for fairness, for justice, for righteousness, for integrity, so I believe this country would be very, very far. In the fight against corruption, the leaders who are ethical, who are truthful, who uphold these values, normally are leaders by example, because that means even when it comes to decision making, they do not make decisions just because of what is trending, but they make decisions after careful thought and implications of those decisions on the people they are representing. So ethical leadership is basically about standing for those values of truth, of honesty, of integrity, and principles that really promote our morals in this country. Yes.
Now, someone may actually want to change the channel right now, and you're thinking, this conversation doesn't really, resonate with me because I'm not a leader. But I think so many of us need to understand that leadership is not just having a position of power. How would you describe a leader, Joel, apart from that normal leadership description that we always have?
Generally, a leader begins with yourself. Who are you? How do you behave? How do you treat yourself? Miles Munro normally says, and he wrote a very wonderful book that I read a couple of months ago about leadership. And he was saying that the power of a man over others begins with power over himself. How are you able to steer yourself to the next level? In most cases, we tend to imagine that we cannot talk about a leadership story without an office.
Oh, yes.
But I want to tell the viewer that the very first office is not the office out there. It is the office with yourself. How are you able to harness everything that is around you to resonate in the ethical manner that we are talking about, to walk in the ethical directions? Your friends, okay? A leader is an influencer, okay? A leader is an example, as you said. So as in every space, each and every space, whether I'm in class, you can really know who the leader is by looking at who are people following, whose example are people trying to borrow from. Napoleon said that he would rather be ruled by one lion than 100 rats. Yes, these rats are many,
quality.
Yes,
Of
yes,
leadership.
yes. These rats may be many,
Yeah.
but they do not have the ability to steer him in a direction where he wants. So leadership is about a quality of a person being able to command and influence others into the good direction.
Yeah. And I mean, I think most leaders always start by being leaders of themselves before they become other people's leaders. Now, Dr. Patricia, you're one of the people who we look up to in the leadership aspect. What do you think are the foundation character or traits that the young people should look out for in themselves before joining, you know, the serious leadership aspect of this country?
First of all, I'm honored to know that many people look up to
Yes.
me, including you. But young people need to look out for traits of leadership. You remember what we talked when we were doing season one,
yes.
I talked about father. And as a leader, before you take any decision, is it fair? In the way you interact with people, in the way you expect to be treated, we need to act with fairness. As a trait, a very, very significant trait in leadership. Then the other one is accountability. Remember, accountability begins with me, myself as a leader. So as a leader, we have got to be accountable, not only for the money or financial resources, but even for the people who we are leading. So in accountability, we need to be accountable both for the good and the bad decisions we take. Because each time we take a decision as a leader, we think about the implications on the people we are leading. So we need to be accountable even for the mistakes. And when you're accountable for the mistakes, it shows that moral fiber in you as a leader. It shows that you have the strength and you're all rounded even in respect. As a leader, you have got to build trust among the people. Right. So as a trait, I think we need to have that trust. The people you're leading, do they trust you? Do they believe in you? Can they go by the vision you're carrying and push it and promote it further? And then the next trait I would like to talk about is honesty. As leaders, we need to display the principles of honesty out there. Are we honest and truthful? That is being able to discuss truthfully. When I go to that board meeting, do I honestly represent the people, or I'm just following what is trending and what everybody else? A leader should be as honest and even allowed to stand alone in his position because he knows the implications of taking that position. Then equality without discrimination. We need to treat people without discrimination. Not to say, oh, mwana wagu ndio mwana wani, this one is my tribe's mate, and so on. So leaders must treat people equally with fairness and also respect. Leaders must show regard for the wishes and feelings of others. Leaders must move with respect. Because if as a leader I do not respect myself, then I don't expect anybody else to demonstrate that respect towards me. So it's very important for leaders to carry those qualities, to demonstrate those qualities in their leadership so that we be able to promote fairness, so that we are able to promote integrity among the people we are leading. Yes.
And so many times some of us may try to detach that too, detach ethical leadership from corruption. I remember some of the comments I was seeing in our Twitter, people saying that sometimes you may not be ethical, but you know how to lead people. I don't know what you think about that.
I think an ethical leader should be able to navigate through the challenges.
For them, they think
in order to
they are promoting I think sly leadership or being like a fox or something.
Let me tell you, Hannah, a couple of days ago I was talking to a friend, and she works with the judiciary, and she was sharing with me the experiences that they normally have when they are around court. So, and I asked her a question. I said, how easy is it for a judge or a lawyer, or how hard is it for for them to not to tell a lie or to tell the truth at a specific time. And as we were having this conversation, she kept alluding to a fact that when we are around positions of power, the pressure is on us, okay? When we are around places where we are supposed to deliver, the pressure is on us. She said that there is no reason why a magistrate or a chief magistrate should have armed guards. Because it was her opinion, and she said that it's not necessary, even a chief magistrate, maybe a judge, because in her view, the things that you handle will determine how you will live your life. If you're going to live your life trying to protect yourself. So she was of the view that people who have dirty dealings always feel insecure. So for a leader that has dirty dealings, that is trying to be diru, that's how my mom calls them. Be diru. Every time you have a chidil, you have something that you're dealing with. And it is wrong.
Of those people who you ask, oh, so what do you do for work? And you're like, may I have my chidil, maybe deals there, maybe deals.
Those be deals. So it is always these people that are dealing, that always feel insecure.
True.
Yes. So it always begins with ethics. If you're unethical, I assure you, there is no way you're going to survive as a leader for long. Longevity in leadership is determined on a person's quality of ethics. It's Jordan Peterson that normally says that. So it is, ethics are key. There is no way you can just say that I'm going to be a leader, I'm going to be crafty. There is no way. There is no way it's going to work.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. And everything that you build on a destroyed ethical foundation will collapse like a pack of cards. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time.
I totally agree. Let's take a break. We're going to be right back in just a few seconds. Welcome back from that short break. You are still right here on Your Space with your host, Hannah Arinito. We're still looking at building a foundation of ethical leadership, since a good number of us are still having queries about that particular subject. Your Space is here to give you much more facts on the topic. Now, I've been seeing a lot of schools lately prioritizing tedious campaigns, prioritizing maybe sabotage at some point when it comes to even young children or students engaging in politics or engaging in anything to do with gaining leadership positions. Dr. Patricia, what do you think we can be able to do to ensure that these educational institutions are prioritizing ethical leadership?
Thank you very much. First of all, a leader is a moral person who self-identifies as a moral person, meaning that a leader has got to apply morals all the time. So for schools to take this up and apply them to the children, it would be the best way forward. And how can it be applied to the children? It starts from the foundation. How is this child raised from home? The time he begins going to school, is he able to pick? And I think it takes to even working on our curriculum. We used to have something called civics, but ethics and principles of truthfulness and the moral values should be inculcated in children while they're still growing up and is in school. And how can teachers do this? The teachers can do this by demonstrating these principles to the children in their music, dance, and drama. If they can sing, like you've seen, sometimes we have national functions and children come and sing about corruption, about the danger of corruption, about what can be done to fight corruption in this country and their involvement as children. So it starts from right from a time when they are still young, And if they learn these values and principles early, then they're able to implement them early. Now, schools can take this up and have subjects to teach in class, encourage debates, moot competitions in universities, debates, and this conversation goes on. And for a child, the Bible says, when you train a child in the way that he should go, when he grows, he will not depart from it.
True.
He will not depart from it.
Very true.
So I believe schools can do a lot. Education institutions can do a lot in promoting ethical leadership. And then engaging with us, we can go on into mentorship and training and transforming doing the mindset change by continuous engagement with the young people. And you know, when you train them, then it sticks in the brain and they're able to practice.
And I think sometimes so many of us don't really understand the importance, and when we build these systems that actually trying to protect us and protect our ethical culture, we end up revolting a lot. I think I've seen that a lot in university.
In the university.
Yes.
And that thing that you're talking about, institutions having a culture of sabotage and trying to stop people from engaging in politics, I feel like that is really dangerous because okay, first of all, this was somebody's argument, someone quite prominent in my career politics. He was of the view that transforming the voting system from physical and making lines and casting the ballot to an online ballot was a way of curtailing political activities. And yes, we want sanity in the university, but we still want leaders. Okay, we want leaders. We want sanity. For instance, we want sanity in Makerere. I remember when we were joining, they used to tell us, kindly don't join Makerere for law. You'll keep around striking and making noise instead of what? Instead of reading, instead of studying. So we need that sanity in the university. But then, politics is key. I read a book by Jim Willis, it's called God's Politics. He highlights how Christians, and now let me use our perspective, how Christians, it is important for us to be bold about taking positions out there and being involved in the society, especially when opportunity presents itself. And the danger that comes when a wicked man is in power and he's the one that is making the what? The decisions. So I feel there's a looming danger because it is affecting directly the quality of the leaders that we are going to have. So it is very important. Yes, we are trying to avoid chaos. It is important. I'm not saying that we should go and strike and make noise. We want the way. No, that's not what we are saying. We are just saying that we should increase involvement, franchise, so that we have the quality of the leaders that we want.
Now, what kind of strategies would you love to share, Joel, from your perspective as a young person, to somebody that is watching right now and they need to start their foundation on ethical leadership? What strategies would you share?
Number one is mentorship. Now, I've been privileged, it's now close to a year, to be close to Dr. Patricia.
It should be a year now, shouldn't it?
Yes.
Almost March.
More than a year now. And personally, my experience has been phenomenal. I cannot explain. There is something that is infectious about people that are leading their lives well. Leading their lives well, I mean in the ethical way. Someone that has qualities of humility, integrity, that loves people. Honestly, I did not come here to make a treatise, but honestly, if there is anything that will ever change a young person's life, is getting closer to a man or woman that has the qualities that they want. So as a young person, Look out for those people. They are there. They are everywhere. They are everywhere. They're just waiting for you to knock at their door.
Yeah. And I think also most times when so many of the young people get mentorship, when we get mentorship, we always like to place the initiative on the other person, on the mentor. But I think young people, put the initiative onto yourself to ensure that you're gaining and learning as much from this person. Don't wait for them to say, hey, mentee, how far now? You know, be the initiator. Yes, Dr. Patricia, what strategies would you like to give the community or anybody who is in leadership right now? And, you know, what kind of strategies would you like to share with them in relation to ensuring ethical leadership in their community and also with themselves in the fight against corruption?
Yes, first of all, I would like to say that when you talk about effective leadership, it requires dedication, it requires vision, it requires willingness to balance one's principles against morals, situational demands towards the best direction. And when we talk about the community out there is always watching and checking and marking and seeing what we leaders are doing. Joel talked about mentorship. Mentorship is very, very important because it helps the professionals to engage with young people, share experiences, help the young people to walk that journey by pulling their hands and showing them the direction to take. Because all young people have challenges and they are very dynamic, they are very brilliant, but to help them use that brilliance, they need guidance from we the elders. So if I'm talking about ethical leadership and I'm not ethical, then I do a disservice because they will say, after all, she has also done this, she has also made such mistakes. So I think there should be, we need to be purposeful and intentional in continuing, keeping these conversations and also picking on people to mentor and help them walk the journey. Recommend them to institutions of learning, recommend them to do courses, recommend them for jobs where they can be trainees and so on. Because knowledge transfer and guidance is very, very significant, especially when we talk about ethical leadership and the war against corruption as well. So we need to build networks and alliances where you have both young people and the older ones, and the young people will be able to learn from the older ones because they get ethical guidance, they get role modeling and so on. Then skills development, like we talked about what the schools should be doing, is very, very significant, and we need to nurture ethical leadership among the young people. How are we nurturing what we have planted? Just like you plant a seed and someone else waters, but we need to team up and build networks of people who don't just start something and leave it there, but people who are able to follow up. Am I able to follow up and say, Joel, how are you getting on with this? How is the course going in the university? Are you able to demonstrate these principles we have been telling Ugandans about? What is the feedback? What are the people saying about you and about your conduct as a leader? So I think it's very, very important to maintain mentorship, to do nurturing, to do coaching, to do follow-up, and have those constructive engagements through the networks, partnerships, and strategic alliances. Yes.
So we have gotten all these nuggets, all these strategies, all these points, and the basket is full. We're just now leaving it up to you to use these fruits for your own benefit. And once again, I think I'll share, I think this is one of the things I've been pushing and encouraging throughout the entire season, is that it always starts with you. We may give you a certain point and a bit of help and mentorship, but we'll always start with you. Thank you so much for joining us today on Your Space with your host, Hannah Arinitwe. We'll see you again next Sunday, same time and same place. Bye-bye.